My name is Lynn Monoky. I'm from South Africa, and Twin Soul Prophecies is our page name. Stick around to the end, where I reveal some of my tips and tricks that I find helps for me to do distant healing in different continents. I am able to connect to spirit, hear spirit, and see spirit. I utilize this gift to help people to get closure by speaking to their passed over loved ones. Some people stay in mourning for far too long. Not that it's wrong to mourn, but their life goes on pause. And I help facilitate them get their life back and live their life to the fullest. I'm a Reiki master, an integrated healing practitioner, sound therapist, and laughter yoga coach. With regard to Reiki, just a quick overview in case you're new to it. Reiki is a healing modality where the healer runs energy, or is merely the conduit for the energy, and we work on the aura, we work on the chakras, and we work on any ailments or ailing places to fix the frequencies or fix the energy that may not be balanced. Reiki also has a distant healing module, which I utilize with my other modules. Let me tell you more about laughter yoga. Laughter yoga is a unique healing modality in that the brain can't distinguish between fake laughter and real laughter. With this is connected funny little things that we do, laughing at oneself, and it builds the laughter up to a crescendo, and thereafter it's cathartic and comes the healing, and all the emotions that have been pent up are released. Who can use this, you say? Well, it's really fun for schools. The little ones love to play with it and learn to laugh, especially those from broken homes. It just makes them feel confident and more at ease. Schools and older children can also utilize it. Those that are suffering with nerves or exams, it's a way of helping them to focus, energizing the bloodstream because of the deep breathing that we do, and it helps them to discard any negative feelings that they have or any hang-ups that they might have. It's really effective in the corporate world, as it's very good for team leaders and for sales teams. It breaks down the barriers, helps people to become more of a team, and energizes them. And they've also found that with this, the immune system is greatly supported and there's less absenteeism from work. This is not just limited to that. We can also use it in old age homes. We just modify it so that the movements are more careful and more orchestrated for the elderly, especially those in wheelchairs or disabled. It's a wonderful pick-me-up for the elderly who often suffer with deep depression and feel unwanted and unloved. They've also often forgotten how to deep breathe and utilize the bottom of their lungs. So this assists with breathing, it assists in aerating, it assists with the circulation of the body, uplifts their mood, and with all of that, you could only have positive health and upliftment. Integrated healing is a revolutionary healing system. It is internationally recognized. It's based in kinesiology, Chinese medicine, and we use many different facets of healing, all encompassed in the one, hence it's called integrated healing. We use gemstones, Bach remedy essence, flower essence. We use your meridians, chakras, and many more. We also use neurolinguistic programming and use the holographic mode, allowing us to get to the root cause and rejuvenating your body, mind, and soul. It also allows us to utilize a surrogate to do distant healing. Why do we need to use muscle testing, you ask? Well, we're surrounded by negativity, and many things happen that we do not deal with, and we not even realize that we haven't dealt with it. We stash those emotions in the recesses of our mind. We stash them in our cells because the mind and cells are all connected. And later, this can manifest as an illness, a sickness, or even an ache or pain in one of the places. My favorite analogy is there's a golfer and he's religious about playing with his friends. But the secret is he's not a very good golfer and he gets teased by his friends relentlessly. Suddenly, he develops a sore knee. And so he can no longer play golf, but for the team, he walks with them and hobbles along. One for the boys, watches them play golf, and partakes at the 18th hole. On investigating further to remove the pain in his knee, without him even realizing, the subconscious has manifested the pain in the knee. And with muscle testing, we are able to find this out. The reason he doesn't want his knee to get better is because then he'd be forced to play golf again and he'd be having all the teasing going on. So we have to heal two issues. His ability not to play golf, we're not that good, but his ability psychologically to handle the teasing and for it not to be taken and become a phobia, which is very important because that will restrict your life, as in him playing golf. And eventually with all the phobias and things, they manifest apart from inner sickness, that you aren't living your life to the full. And it can hamper your life, it can hamper your work, it can hamper your future, because it also hampers how we see things and how we perceive things and ability to want to try new things. So that is why we use muscle testing, because the body is very, very clever. The ego and the subconscious is designed to hide the truth from us and to prevent as much trauma and as much unhappiness as possible. So what happens are all these little events get stashed in different places, be it the neck, be it the back, be it in the bladder. These are often places that people have. The neck not wanting to see what's going on, pulling your neck in and just wanting to be an ostrich and not partake in life. The back is a very common place at the bottom for women. It's the deep-seated place for your emotions because it's behind the ovaries, behind your reproduction. So anything to do with children, relationships, often affects the bottom of your back. The bladder is often affected when we are truly angry with something and we have the inability to state that how we feel. We're not dealing with how we feel because we might be angry at our boss and that might cause us to lose our job. So we stifle those emotions and push them down and eventually it could manifest into a bladder infection. The typical saying is, please excuse me, being pissed off. So that affects the waterworks as such. Hence we use the muscle testing because the muscle testing tells us about all these deep-seated problems, and if if someone says, are you angry? Invariably we've been taught by conditioning, how are you? I'm fine, thanks, I'm wonderful. Oh, I heard you got divorced. Oh yes, but he was a fool, but never mind, I've moved on and life is wonderful. We have been taught that people, number one, don't really want to hear how we are, and that we've got a sore head, a sore arm, a sore leg. And secondly, with this conditioning, it is polite to always be fine. So we have taught ourselves or conditioned ourselves to not deal with issues and to shove whatever's negative into the recesses of our mind. Hence we use muscle testing. All living things have energy as they have cells, and all those cells are made up of little molecules that accept energy and they're living. As a human, we're made up of 60% of water, so we have many cells in our body. I want to do a quick demo for you, which is a fun demo. There are laboratory tests done on water, illustrating that water, apart from being a very good conductor of energy, has a memory, and you can program water. I know what I'm doing now is just an illustration, and you'd have to Google if you wanted to see the scientific proof. Please bear with me. So for your use, I've taken a glass of water and colored it. You're able to see this. Now this is going to happen very quickly, so I need you to look at the water. Yes, you can see right through. And what you're going to see is I'm going to swirl the water. Now the water will take about 2 or 3 turns with the spoon before it starts creating its own vortex, and you'll be able to see the vortex. So let's do that. 2, 3. And can you see the vortex? Yes, you can see it swirling. There we go. And it's calming down. Now with this, we had to do it 3 times. Look what happens when I do it the second time. You'll notice I don't have to swirl it as many times. 1, 2, and it's already got the vortex. You can see it. Let it calm down, and let me do it a 3rd time, and you'll see now. Please watch very carefully because it happens very fast now. Once. You have a look very carefully. I'll do it again. Once, and there's the water swirling. So what does this demo show us? As I said, I know it's not scientific proof. You'll have to Google for the scientific lab-based ones. This proves that water has a memory, and what it's subjected to, it's now been trained that when the spoon turns the water, it starts to swirl and it starts to form a vortex. With our bodies made up of 60% of water, all energy frequencies around us, whether it be emotional, electrical, sound, is affecting the tension of the water in our bodies. And this causes a problem if our energies go out of balance, because it manifests into irritability, headaches, and later, if we ignore it and let it go really out of balance with our chakras, it can manifest into proper illnesses. So back to the glass of water. We have learned that this water has a memory. Your cells, through life, because we are humans, have tried many things, and your cells have learned that when you're upset, to withdraw. Because if we withdraw, we go into our own bubble and we save. Others may become aggressive and hit out, and that makes the opposing people retreat. All of this is now programmed into our cells of how to react, and our cells now have this new memory. With integrated healing, we are able to clear out these memories of the cells and restore the original blueprint in the body. But enough about the energy. Let's talk about frequency. How can you send healing across the world to someone in a different continent? Well, it works on the same principle as a radio or a television set. If you take a radio and you put it on your favorite channel, and you come back tomorrow and put it on that channel, you don't even give it a second thought. It's going to broadcast and you're going to listen to the channel that you want. Even if you move across the continent or around the world, you can still tune in to your radio channel. This is extremely important for healing because it works on the same principle. If you watch your television, you will see, and we never give it a thought, once again, we turn the TV on and we watch our soapy faithfully. We don't get a soapy with a bit of opera singing, with a bit of hatred, with a bit of news, with a bit of weather, and we don't even consider it. Once we've tuned to our channel, we faithfully receive what we want to and what we want to watch. It's invisible, we can't see it, we can't feel it, we can't touch it. But it's there. It's there so that we can receive it. How do you receive it? Either through a disc, a channel, an aerial, but that is how we receive it. And then it goes into your radio or your TV. Distance healing works in the same manner. We need to have intention that we are going to send it to Harry Harrods. We also need to know the frequency. What ailment is Harry Harrods suffering? Oh, he has a sore knee. So it's fair to say that we are going to start sending healing to his knee and then later on to any other relevant places. So our frequency that we're going to be sending is healing on the knee, which is really important. Then we need the aerial. Well, the antenna or the aerial is the person that receives the healing. They're the receptor. And the receptor gets turned on, like on a TV. So the receptor or the person, being Mr. Harry Harrods, would have to sit and be ready to receive his healing. When I do healing, distant healing, I always like to be on some sort of video and able to hear me and see me. So whether it's Skype or Zoom or whatever I choose to use, or WhatsApp, I like Mr. Harry Harrods to have contact with me. This enables me to see him, communicate with him, and let him have the visual as well as the communication with me. It's vitally important. I can also get feedback that he can feel prickling feelings, can feel the energy, he can't feel the energy. And when it comes to subconscious or psychological issues, we have the contact right there while I'm doing the healing to do neurological programming. Hold on, I'm going to give you a small demo of how I do the healing. Be right back with my healing bed. Welcome to Twin Soul Prophecies Healing Room. As promised, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks of distance healing. The easiest way to utilize this is to use a teddy. Why use a teddy, you ask? Because when you're healing, you're trying to pick up so many other things that it's hard to visualize parts of the body. If you remember in the story, Mr. Harry Harris had a sore knee. So we're going to lie Mr. Harry Harris down. Now the criteria for healing is that we have audio and video connection with the receiver. So I like to use WhatsApp or Zoom or Skype video and make sure that the person that's going to receive the healing is in a comfortable position to receive the healing for about an hour. And make sure that there is clarity with them so that you can do neuro-linguistic programming while you're healing should you need it, and you need feedback from the person. Fundamentals are the healer has to be in a good space, we have to have intention, and we need the frequency at which to send the healing. In this case, the frequency is the sore knee and any other parts that we pick up once we start progressing. We need a receiver or an aerial, and that will be Mr. Harry Harris on the Skype video. Let's begin. So I would start as normal healing. I don't know which modalities you are comfortable with utilizing, so I'm not going to use a specific modality here. I'm just going to illustrate the basics for the distance healing. Harry Harris would be comfortable. We'd use any gemstones that we would need in the healing. I would actually communicate with him. He'd be watching and say to him, close your eyes. I'm now actually utilizing Harry Harris and clearing your meridians. I'm balancing your chakras. And then I would progress to doing healing on the sore knee and ask Mr. Harry Harris, is he comfortable? Can he feel the heat? This is what I'm picking up, etc. Enough about Mr. Harry Harris. The other option, which I found is really powerful, is using a human person to lie on the bed, and then I use a protocol to turn them into a surrogate for Mr. Harry Harris, and that person becomes Mr. Harry Harris, and I get feedback from them that they can feel the energy while Mr. Harry Harris is watching, and he gives me feedback. So that is super, super powerful and super strong, and something that you could perhaps think of doing, but it's not always possible. The other wonderful little tip while I'm here is my loving cat Yoda. My friend's cat, Fifi, is not at all well. And Fifi lives across on the continent. So once again, we need to have what are we healing, which is the frequency. It is Fifi just ailing in general. And we need to have a receptor or an aerial. So I have asked my friend to connect via Skype. I have a connection and she's holding Fifi in her arms, patting Fifi. So Fifi's ready in a receptive, comfortable mode to receive healing. And then I would actually just continue to do Reiki on my cat. I have already done a protocol stating that Yoda is now Fifi. And any healing I do on Yoda will transfer to Fifi. Remembering that the body is 60% of water, good conductor, and that the intention is most important. So I would do healing on Yoda, and that would go to Fifi and be sufficient. I hope these tips and tricks have been beneficial to you and helped you. And thank you for watching. Namaste. Should you wish to experience one of these powerful healings, don't forget to book a session with us. Thank you.